Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with today's fresh dose of World of Warships Legends shenanigans. How is it going, YouTube land? So today I've got actually I've got like a couple, it's hard to get a Kraken in this game and not put it up on YouTube, but like occasionally it happens where I'm like, I don't know, like, I feel like I did, like, you'll see, like, right, like, sometimes it doesn't feel deserved, where, like, I've got, like, a low score and or not that much damage, right, like, the kills just sort of fall into your lap, you know, and I was being aggressive here, right, too. We got away with, coming around on this flank on whatever map this is, right. You'd think after, like, I don't know, 20,000 some freaking games matches that I've played with this game, that, like, I would have the maps names memorized, but anyway. We get away with coming around the outside of this flank and sneaking into the A cap, which is pretty rare, right? Like, a lot of times there's some shenanigans that happens right along the outside of that zone as whoever spawned on either side sort of fights for that flank, and then gets away with getting into the zone. So I'm getting in and I'm getting the cap and I'm unspotted here. Like, we're living the freaking dream here. And then we get our first kill with the fire. Now, granted, I am a fire spammy ship here. And then I can see on the mini-map, we can see there's these two ships. And I just quick checked my sonar spotting range. And we can kind of cheese these guys a little bit, right? Sonar works the way it works in this game is they're close enough, even though there's an island between us here, that this guy's close enough that we can spot him, this Harbin here. We can spot this Harbin, and now this Charles Martel probably too, with our sonar, even though nobody else on our team has line of sight on them, right? And even though, like, I can't do anything to them, a lot of times keeping ships spotted like this, one, if anybody else has an angle on them, they're going to take advantage of that, right? And that's going to be great for you. But two, sometimes you can get people to you can flush them out, right? You can convince them to reposition, run away, do something, right? Because they don't want to be spotted, right? So sometimes just keeping someone spotted can do some work for you as well. And it kind of starts working with this Harbin. I can feel his frustration, like, so he's moving up, right? Like he's moving out of safety, basically, right? Even if nobody could shoot at him, right? I'm getting him I'm forcing him to make some sort of decision here, right? So we get the zone cap, and I'm like, all right, if he keeps moving out, and I'm also considering too, there's only one battleship on the red team, or at least one surviving battleship on the red team, right? If there was still, and he's all the way over on the other side of the map, right? He's way over there. And then we know that there's a Benson here that's getting picked up, and so I'm gonna focus on the Benson, right? We want to try and focus on the destroyer, so that distracts me from the Harbin a little bit here, and this Charles Martel moved up too, so we're getting a little risky at this point. But I'm gonna get the torpedoes off on the cruisers, and then I'm gonna continue to try and focus on the destroyer, because we want to get destroyers off the board as early as possible. Or, you know what, whenever it is possible, right? So now I know I'm still within my smoke firing penalty range, right? It's 6 kilometers for this Harbin. So I'm going to drop smoke. Even he's got his smoke going too, which is fine. We do get a torpedo hit there. But I'm going to hold off firing the main guns because we know we would still get picked up here, right? I was able to go undetected. Now he is kind of low, and he had to damage kind of flood. So I'm like, all right, let's see if we can get a fire or something going, right? Because if we can get rid of him, we're 0.1 kilometers away from being undetected, basically, by him, right? So if we can get rid of him, we'll go unspotted, and there it is. We'll damage con the double fire. We know he's got torpedoes, right? So it would be nice to have sonar going. It's tough to tell if he got them off or not. So I'm going to align myself with where his ship was, right? I'm going to point my butt at him just in case. I don't know if he would have had the angle on there, right? But those are those sneaky deep water torpedoes. There they are, right? We made the right call. Okay. But yeah, we're now at 2 kills, right? I don't think did we not get the credit for that one, but yeah, we're at 2 kills with only 26,000 damage here. We helped get the A. Well, we solo capped the A zone here, and then we helped defend our destroyer buddy, right? This Z31 on my team, right? He could have been dead if we didn't help out with that Benson. So this is, and it's somewhat of a competitive game still at this point, right? But I'm kind of looking like I've got plenty of health. we need to figure out where we can be most valuable as a fire spammy Japanese cruiser ship. So I'm hoping to be able to move up here with anticipation that the red team is probably going to, you kind of have this mindset of like, people tend to kind of go, like, right, if they get their flank done, they tend to push up through that flank, right? So I'm anticipating everybody from that side of the map, all the enemies, to continue to move up through C and try and go and attack my remaining battleship that's left up there, right? So just that's kind of the generic flow of the generic play, right? The average player kind of wants to continue to push through a zone as they destroy ships within that zone, right? So I'm gonna, with that anticipation, I'm gonna start moving up to be able to support, to be able to kind of sort of create a crossfire or meet them on that other flank, right? There's only 4 ships left, right? So for our Kraken, we've got to get 3 of these 4 kills. Maya is out there, right? Our battleship's probably the one doing most of the spotting, maybe this destroyer here, right? And we've got a couple of other folks that, right, we've got a cruiser and a battleship on our team down on the lower part of the map, down below B, right? So we've got a good crossfire situation. I switched to AP with anticipation that we might catch one of these cruisers broadside, and we kind of do this Baltimore, but like, right, he's got decent, for a cruiser, he was angled a good amount, right? We got 6 ricochets there, right? So I switched back to the HE with, anticipating him to angle himself even more. He's still pretty focused on the battleship, though. And so we're going to get away with, like, right, I can give up some angle to try and get those front turrets off as well here. And he still looks like he's looking at it, right? So I'm going to get all of my turrets off on him here, right? And we did trigger the fire, which forced him to damage con, right? And so we're going to cheese that kill there. This Maya comes around the corner, flat broadside, like perfectly broadside. So we're going to switch to AP, right? We're going to do the, if you're going to give it up, we're going to take it, right? So he also looked like he was more focused on the battleship as we came around the corner, right? And then now I think he spotted our aircraft carrier, and so that's who he took the shot at. And then so we've got another free shot off on him, right? These guys are just giving it up, lining it up, right? AP is going to work on him as well, and there is our Kraken to end that game. I've got another one lined up, right? That was pretty quick succession of 3 kills in a row there. I think they need to introduce, you got the double strike medal. I think they need to introduce a triple strike medal, right? But we still only got 2nd place on the leaderboard right there. So kills aren't everything, right? Playing objectives is where it's at. This one here too, I was impressed with my my patience on this one, right? So sometimes it's really tough to, we're in the Tirpitz, right? Your very typical German brawling battleship, right? And it's always tough to not just plow through the zone and, right, like just muscle out whatever you deal with, right? But like, I know for a fact we've got, I skipped ahead to the very, from the, a couple minutes into the game, right? So C has been getting capped, right? We can see that it's very red at this point. So we know there's a destroyer in there, right? So I'm not going in there. I'm not going to be dumb about it. But he decides to YOLO rush at me and this cruiser here, which, like, I think at best you might get one of us. But obviously we're both going to stop whatever we're doing and try to destroy the destroyer that's right by us. But yeah, I'm able to adjust the throttle, right? Slam on the brakes, turn around the other way. There's still another destroyer in C because it's still getting capped, right? So we managed to get a little bit of luck and a little bit of maneuvering there and get away from all of the torpedoes from both of these destroyers. I'm wondering, maybe our cruiser might have had sonar going, and that probably helped us out a little bit with an early warning there as well. But we are going to use secondaries and main batteries on this Le Fantastique to try and get him off the board as quick as we can. I was almost frustrated that it took, between the two of us, that long to get that kill, right? We do have a destroyer player on our team, if you notice that the minimap, right, that hasn't started playing yet. I do think he decides to join us at some point here eventually. But we are going to have to be careful, right? We're still spotted, right? That constellation, we've got some smoke between us and him. he might be, I don't know, we're probably still within that smoke firing penalty, but we know there's still a destroyer in there somewhere. We can see bullets coming from the smoke screen going after our cruiser. So he does, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you would consider that pushing up a little too much, right? But he knows there's a destroyer in there and he wants the destroyer. He's like, right, I'm a cruiser. I want to kill destroyers, right? So he's pushing up on the destroyer. We're keeping our distance for the time being, but I am going to start to circle back around to try and help out, right? I'm also keeping in mind there are 3 battleships on the other side of the sea cap here, right? We can't YOLO push up into the zone. That's ultimately what got rid of that cruiser for us. Plus, we were down our destroyer on our flank, who just now decides to start playing, right? So we've got some making up to do on our flank, right? It's me, this allied destroyer that just now started playing, right? A destroyer on the enemy team, right? There he is, finally, a black, plus 3 battleships on the other side, right? So we've got our work cut out for us. That's why we've been playing conservative thus far in this game. But yes, the black does get himself spotted here, and then he's firing his guns. So even though our destroyer is in smoke right now, right, we must be within the black's firing range, so we might be the one spotting him. There's also our allied battleship on the other side, just to the right of C, might be picking him up too. But anyway, everyone's doing their job, right? Everyone's focusing on the destroyer yet again. So there is kill number 2. We are up to 41,000 damage here. I almost said $41,000. That would be nice, right? And the vast majority of what we were going after was destroyers. But yeah, we do have some couple of decent hits on the battleships out there, right? So we've been taking advantage of that when they show up, right? Their Bismarck's nice and broadside. So now we can start pushing up a little bit more and being a little bit more aggressive. We don't have to worry about insta-death from destroyer torpedoes. We can see the location of their last remaining destroyer kind of right in the middle of the map, right? So I don't have to worry about him for the time being. Alabama's nice and broadside, although we are about to fire, you know, these wonderful German guns. Right, so that the main battery, right, it's a secondary battery build too. So, but yeah, you sort of have, you have to have low expectations for these main battery guns, especially at this kind of range, right? But so we'll take the shots at the Alabama while we've got them here and see what we can get. Couple of busted shells there, so still no damage against him. Still sitting pretty at 41,000 damage here. Another ship goes down on the enemy team, so now we are up a ship officially, and we are up zones too, because our destroyer here has capped the sea cap. So now I'm feeling a little bit more confident about the game. We've got quite a bit of health left, right? I always say this, right? I preach this quite a bit, right? If you're a battleship player and you start getting to be towards the end of the game and you still have a lot of health, you've kind of done your team a disservice, right? So you want to look at your health as a resource and occasionally draw some fire. Notice I say it like occasionally, right? Like, don't be too aggressive about it, right? If you just sail through the middle of the map, everyone's going to focus fire on you, you're going to die, and being a distraction for 1 or 2 minutes in the game is not is not that helpful, right? I can't say it's completely useless, but yeah. But anyway, so yes, again, we are running into a situation where if we want to Kraken, we've got to get, 3 of the 5 kills that are left out here, right? So we're going to start pushing up. We've got plenty of health left, right? So I am full throttling, trying to get myself into the battle. Right, we probably could have started heading up sooner than we did. But my team's done a great job, right? They're over. We're technically still weak side, I guess, right? I think the downfall here is these 3 battleships kind of hunkered down behind this mainland island here, and one of them, you know, that Alabama's got full health as well, right? So, but yeah, here comes the Chungmu, right? So this is the last remaining destroyer here. We will do all we can to try and get him off the board, and main shells for once land for us here. So that's kill number 3. A little bit more damage, right? This was, I was saying, like, not super high damage numbers here. This Constellation is sort of the next contestant on the prices right here, and he is pretty low on health himself. I was like, do I even worry? You know, do I even mess with the torpedoes? And so I had decided not to shoot the torps, and then yeah, our destroyer manages to get his torps off on him, right? So 3 ships left. We need to get 2 of the 3 kills here. Bismarck, same situation, kind of low on health here. And another one where I was like, do I even bother with the torpedoes, right? But it's got the, you know, the hefty German armor scheme, right? So we'll send the torps. He's not even looking this way, which I was kind of surprised at. But yeah, so whose torpedoes are those? Bismarck doesn't have torps. But yeah, so it must have been the other ship, obviously. But anyway, so Alabama is looking at us, right? And I know we've got the Bismarck dead, but if the secondaries don't get him, the torpedoes will, right? And we get the detonation medal, or he does, right? Like, it's kind of weird how that works, but congratulations, your ship exploded. Here's the medal. But yeah, so Alabama, he's going to be our last guy. And yeah, this is one of those situations where I was like, all right, I'm good for ramming here, right? Like, we've probably got the guaranteed win. I see the Heisen super low on health, so I'm like, all right, maybe we can get a 6-pack out of this, right? So I'll take the shot at the Heisen. We'll let the secondaries work their way through the Alabama, and worst case scenario, I can ram the Alabama and try and get all the health I can out of that, right? We're only up to 64,000 now, so not a crazy big score here either. But yeah, Petro manages to finish off the Heisen, so I wasn't able to cheese that one. And we're actually running low on points here, or time as far as points go, right? We're at 940 points. So I'm like, right, I'm ready for the ram, right? And so this guy, he looked like he was going to start turning into me. And then I was like, all right, so I'm going to go left on the rudder here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to hit him, right? So, but torpedoes will be able to get him for sure. So we will send those. I was like trying to weigh whether I might be able to hit him with the ram still or not, right? Because we probably could have might have had enough health there for a diehard, right? But if anything, right, it's my favorite way to finish off a game is ramming each other, right? So 900 or 95,000 total damage there, which was not too bad, right? Like, but like for a Kraken, like you kind of expect some more, but we do get top of the leaderboard for this game and then walk away with about $500,000 in silver. Or credits, whatever you call those things, right, for the game. And I'll actually go through I know I didn't do it with the Blazing Dread, but we'll go through the build here, right? On the Tirpitz, it's full-blown secondary batteries on this one. But propulsion and concealment for those middle slots, and then even the reload on the fourth slot. And then I am using a Blue Archive Collaboration Commander here, but Franz von Hipper is always your must, at least thus far in the game, for inspirations for secondary builds. Haruna, if you've got her. Otherwise, there's some other decent choices out there, even if you're free to play, right? But base trait on this one is secondary battery reload and more damage against battleships. And then I've got Porcupine for slot 3. That's kind of your go-to. Punishment time. This is, kind of gives you a little bit of buff to your secondary battery targeting stuff, right? And then Properly Meticulous there. And then secondary interest. This one's kind of nice, right? It basically gives you some buffs while your secondary targeting consumable is being used, right? So between all those perks, you end up with 6 of those secondary targeting enhancement consumable thingamajiggers, right? So sometimes it's hard to get through all 6 of them, but I'm still kind of, I'm still there for the other buffs that come with those perks too, so it's not too big of a deal, right? But that's going to be our Krakens for the day, double Kraken video, right? But thanks for watching all the way through. If you're still here, I'm impressed, right? Thank you very much. And then I'm still a somewhat small channel, so if you're not subscribed, please do so. That actually, your one little click helps me out quite a bit, and I do notice new subscribers since I'm still kind of small here, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, Legends videos pretty much every single day on my channel, so if you are following, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.